Well, as we get started with our first download, we're going to download the Postgres database. Now, in most cases, I'm going to be working alongside you, but when installing software, the screen recording device will not work in conjunction with that. So I've created a series of slides that are going to step us through the process that you're going to have to go through to install the software. So you can see I'm at the enterprisedb.com downloads PostgreSQL-downloads page. You can type this in, or you can Google enterprisedb.com Postgres download or anything like that. Now, the one that I'm going to use is the Windows 64-bit version of Postgres. So you're going to click on download, and it's going to take you a few minutes for the actual software to download. Once the software downloads, you can click on the executable and get ready to start the installation process. So the next thing we're going to get to is setting up Postgres. So under the setup, I'm going to hit next. Then it's going to ask us where we want Postgres to be installed. Personally, doesn't really matter to me. I'm using it on the C program files, Postgres, QL, and then 11. So there's a whole bunch of different places you can put it, just as long as you let the computer know where it is. You'll click next again, and it's going to ask you what you want installed. Let's make sure all 4 of these are clicked on, because we're going to use pgadmin to administer the software. This is the actual server itself, and Stack Builder is going to allow us to have the ability to bring in things like PostGIS so we can do some GIS functionality. So we'll click next again. And then it's going to ask where you want the data. And again, it doesn't really matter where you put this, because as long as you let Postgres know, it's going to point to that. But in our case, I'm going to use the default and put it in the 11 directory. We'll click next one more time, and then it's going to ask me for a database user password, and the super user, or the owner of it, is Postgres. That's the username. I made the password Postgres as well. It doesn't really matter what you use for a password, just as long as you remember it. Then you're going to hit next again, and it's going to ask you the port number. Now, most of the time it'll be 5432. That's a standard port that allows the computer and users to be able to talk to Postgres. I've got mine set up as 5433 because I have other things on my computer. Again, it doesn't really matter what port you set up, just so long as you remember it, because later when we try to connect to Postgres, we're going to have to tell it which port number it's part of. So we're going to hit next again, and then it's going to tell us everything that is going to happen with our installation. So you can see where the directory is, where the data is, what the port number is, and all of that. And then the next thing, we'll hit next, and it will begin to unpack the program and start to install it. This is where you can go off, grab a cup of coffee. It's going to take a little while. And then when it's done, we're going to get a setup screen again that tells us basically that we finished installing Postgres, but now we want to launch Stack Builder. And again, Stack Builder was those modules that allow us to bring in additional software. So we click Finish, and then under Stack Builder, you're going to select this drop down, and you want to use Postgres 11 on port 5433. And when we click next again, there's a whole bunch of things. There's add-ons, there's database drivers, all that. I'm not too worried about that, but this is the important one. You click on the spatial extensions, and you want PostGIS, the bundle for Postgres 11. So that is going to install PostGIS. We'll click on that, and it's going to tell you again where things are going to be installed. And you click next again, and it's going to go through. It's going to take a little while. It's going to download everything that we need. So we're getting ready to now install it. So when you click next, it's going to start the installation. And here we have a little license agreement that you'll agree to. You can scroll down and read through it to accept the terms. And it's going to ask us what we want to install. PostGIS. You can always create a sample spatial database. We're going to ignore that for now because we're going to create our own. Then we'll hit next again. It's going to tell us where we want to install it. And we click next again, and now you're going to have this whole thing running through. And again, this will take a few minutes as well. You can step away for a moment, or you can just sit and wait. The next thing that'll happen is you're going to have a series of pop-ups come up. So there's other modules using GDAL to interact with PostGIS. So yes, we want to do that. Also, enabling the use of rasters. Again, just hit yes, so that way you have that installed. And anything else that comes up, you'll just want to say yes, go ahead and install it. So this will go through, it's going to extract everything that it needs. It will say the installation is complete. You can hit close, and then it will say the installation is completed. And from here we can go on and begin to test the software.